Oh, you be with them steppers, huh? But you can't step with us. Niggas swear they certified steppers, but don't step enough. Oh, you be with them steppers, huh? But you can't step with us. Niggas swear they certified steppers, but don't step enough. Oh, you be with them steppers, huh?
Welcome to the Certified Stepper Podcast. I'm your host with the most, don't mean to brag or boast. It's smooth, baby. And this is K Female.
What's good? I don't get none of that. That's what happens when you just let you do the introduction, huh? I get the AKAs and you get the host with the most. What's good, bro?
Chilling, man.
Hey, chilling, huh? Man, episode 15, bro, so we really gonna talk about it, huh? We gonna talk about it?
Let's do it.
We're gonna talk about, do men really want marriage in 2021, man? This is about to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
And I think it's dope, though. I'm actually finna enjoy this conversation because, I'm coming from running that lap.
Yeah.
And I think you coming from figuring out if you aspire to even run the race at all. So yeah, we about to go ahead and dive right in, bro. So do you think we as men still look at marriage as the ultimate goal, like today? And so why do you think we do, or why, if you don't think we do, why not? So you think that's the ultimate goal now?
I know for me, I believe it's the ultimate goal. Like, I don't want to be chasing women until I'm 50 years old, you know what I'm saying? I done had my whole phases over, I done did.
Yeah.
Had all kind of women all my life. I believe that. I believe
It's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
What if necessarily chasing women is not necessarily a person's end game? He just enjoys the freedom of being able to do what the fuck he want, right? And I ain't talking about you particularly, just a man perspective.
Man, I just eventually gonna get tired though, man.
Yeah, I got tired a few times.
Yeah.
As I think about it, for me, like, in that question, and granted, it's my question, right? But even when I thought of it, the word I struggle with the most in that question is ultimate, right?
Yeah.
Is it the ultimate goal? Is it still a goal for me? And I believe so, yes. Mm-hmm. Is it the ultimate goal? Man, society has shown us how a marriage can fuck us.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that I know some dudes who completely wipe that shit off the table. They cool with life partners, they cool with, or if they do marriage, it's gonna be in a non-traditional way with the polygamy or something like that, right? They start looking for alternatives. Mm-hmm. So I think the ultimate goal that most dudes are on now is like this paper chase, right? Yeah. But I think that's the case because, like, more than never, you're forced to have some money in your pocket to even be in the game.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Think about this, like, you be after the paper, but what's the use of it? You ain't nobody to share with.
That's a fact. Yeah. So I'm with you. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I'll give you where I stand. So in terms of like me in marriage, like I said, I ran that lap. I've already been married. Mm-hmm. And people ask me all the time, but you think you can get married again? I answer every single time, hell yeah. Mm-hmm. But shit, now I got some education behind me. Mm-hmm. Like that's why I think women look at me like I move like a snail now. Like, it's because like everything you do getting vetted now. Cause in past life I overlooked so much shit. Cause I really was cool with it until I wasn't. Right? So now it's like, nah, nigga, I'm finna put all that shit on the table. You gonna understand what I'm looking for the woman. And so for me, marriage is definitely a goal, and it's a top goal, right? I can't decipher between marriage and my life purpose, though. Yeah. So like, my life purpose is my ultimate goal, is probably how I look at it. But right underneath that, I want to find my twin flame, son, my partner, my soul tie. I definitely want that shit.
I agree with you. I just gotta do it, man, to say I did it. You know what I'm saying? I just picture my way.
Look what we have come to, y'all, in 2021.
No, but I really want to find, the one that I'm supposed to marry. But I just picture my wedding like this, bro. I picture all my exes in the last pew in the church. I picture them all in the last pew in the church. And when the priest like, Jeremy, do you take this? What would they say?
Do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife? Yeah.
And I say I do, and they be like, they all gonna stand up. They gonna be like, no, it should have been me, and they all faint.
Oh, you definitely had that dream a few times, nigga.
That's how I feel happening, bro. That's how I feel.
That man had that dream a couple times. And he said they all fake. But nah, seriously though, but on some real stuff, bro, it's like, bro, I think that because of how accessible information is now, like, marriage is still a goal. However, I think we're getting way more smarter. I think men are getting way more smarter about how we actually popping that question and when we doing it, right? But what I think the disconnect is, and why we still gonna always face pressure, and you know what I'm saying, and chicks gonna always feel like they gotta move on from you, is because for us, like, our sex drive, all that shit don't go nowhere, right? 45, 50, 55, 60, like women really got a clock on them. So it's like, when they look at me as a 35-year-old man, you know what I'm saying, and like trying to figure out, you know, what's the hold up, what's going on, I see 25, 30 plus more years where I could have a child. She looking at it like, I ain't got all that time, bro. Like, what we doing? So I think that's but I think that dudes are getting smarter with like, man, you ain't finna rush me into that, and I'm gonna explain later into the episode why I think that's hella smart. Like I'm gonna go into why I think that's hella smart for us to not feel pressure, not to just jump at somebody because y'all in a relationship, just because y'all got things going and things seem right. Yeah, you still haven't vetted that process out. We're gonna dissect that shit. For real.
What you think the benefit is for men to get married today, or if is there a benefit?
The benefit of men getting married today, right? See, bro, like, that's a tough one, because it's like, when we think about the benefits, right? Like, I could jump off a bunch of benefits you could think of, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You have somebody that, you know what I'm saying, you could walk through life with, right? You got a divine partner, somebody that you know, when you do it right. I'm talking about when it's done right. You got somebody you can walk through life with. You got somebody that's a life partner for real. You got that companion, that go-to person, that homie, that friend, right? So that connection. When it's done right, I think you got that benefit. You got the benefit of building with two incomes, if we're talking about from a financial standpoint, right? So you got that benefit. Again, you got the benefit of parenting, right? When you stay together, like when you raising kids, you got a partner helping you. Like, so there's benefits to partnership that really helps both parties out, right? However, with that question, where I struggle, when you talk about like, what's the ultimate benefits, like, that's cool, that come with marriage, everything I just explained, right? But let's think about when things get rocky, when, you know what I'm saying, you might be facing a divorce, you might be looking at this relationship ending. I think that's where men start thinking about the benefits that really matter, meaning that there's no benefit to me to losing the wife when I have children because I got child support. There's no benefit for me losing this situation because I'm probably gonna have to come off of half of what I own. There's no benefit for me leaving this situation because if I do and I, for whatever reason, can't make my child support payments, now I got freedom at question, right? So like, when we talk about the actual benefits of marriage, like, you gotta think about that entire picture, right? And the reason why you gotta think about that entire picture is because you gotta figure out if the negative benefits of the breakup, if shorty gonna really move like that and treat you like that. So I can understand the hesitation on my side.
I agree with you, man. I just think like the main benefit, you get to be with the one you want to be with for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think that's the only benefit, honestly. Like, everything else is catered to the woman, right? Because case in point, just think about it this way. Whenever you in a relationship, right, and y'all chilling and you able to kind of have that freedom to like go on guys trips and do whatever you gotta do and kick it with the bros, and it's not much nagging, right? But then as soon as that title come into play, not all women, but what then starts to happen, right? Like, she start nitpicking at this little thing right here. Now you hanging with the bros too much. Like, nah, you went out last month. You don't need to go out this month, right? When the whole time that was y'all lifestyle and that was what was okay. So now on the receiving end, a dude looking at this like, damn, I can't even move how I used to move, and shit, I thought the reason why I was getting married to you is because I found somebody who's comfortable with me. So I think we're gonna think about all of that, and it's smart too. Nah, because now you gotta find a woman who's comfortable with the person that you are, no matter how many times or not you choose to go out, no matter how many times or not you choose to do whatever vice or whatever thing you got, whoever you choose, it needs to accept that too. Yeah. Like for me, so in terms of it being the goal again, yes, it's the goal. Yeah. However, do your homework, partner. Yeah, like that's my advice. Do your fucking homework big time, because if you don't, man, you're gonna end up with the short end of the stick rebuilding yourself back up. Right? So do you think like when it comes to like actually being in a marriage, right? Or like the thought of being in a marriage, do you think like the change in the sex life has an effect on if we decide to get married or not?
Hell yeah, I was about to say, bro, that's the only thing I don't look forward to for being married, because I done heard so many people say that when they get married, like the sex drive stop. I promise you, like me, if we having sex like 3 to 4, 5 times a week, and we get married and we have sex once a month, nigga, I want a divorce.
right off the dump.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's like that's a requirement.
Like I could have stayed single for all this.
That's a requirement, right? Yeah. And so I'm with you on that. I 100% agree that like if the sex drops after you get the paperwork in order, that's a huge turnoff. Now my question back to you though is like, how do you then work with a woman who then like falls off? Like for whatever reason, you know, women have these reasons for their sex drive dropping, right? I don't want to put this all on just women, but like men too. Like people in general have their sex drives. They, you know, that shit fluctuates, right? How would you gauge, you know what I'm saying, if this is something that this is who she is now, who she's always been, and she really don't like to have sex like that, and she was doing it for me? How would you gauge if she was that person or if she just really going through some shit and then she gonna get back to the sex? How would you be able to like decipher between the two?
Man, I just asked you straight up, hey, look, this how you was before? Is this gonna be a full-time thing?
Yeah.
Because I need to know now.
And that's key, bro. Like, and see, I like that approach that you mentioned, because like I feel like so many men so goddamn scared of being direct, bro. Like, if it's a problem in your relationship, if it's a problem in your marriage, man, address that shit.
And if you don't be direct like that, you might end up going out cheating because you ain't getting it from your wife.
That's exactly what it is. And like, and so for me, just putting myself in a situation to where I could think about when I was married, right? Like for the most part of the marriage, I've explained this to most people I've talked to, probably like that wasn't lacking with us until it was, like until like the attraction was gone. When we was on, me and Shorty was on, right? Like sometimes she'll take that shit. You see what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's hers. Like you my husband, boom, this is me, right? So from that standpoint, I ain't had no problems with it. But then like, because I had other shit that I was allowed to build up in the relationship, I then start looking at her, you know, as if she was unattractive. Not because she was actually unattractive, she was beautiful as fuck, but her ways made me like, and then that sex drive pulled back, and then because she saw my pullback, her pullback came. And you're right, and ultimately what happened is like, damn, we not, like now, I can say that whenever we really got to the decision where it was like time to like split ways, it was like we was looking at each other like roommates. So like it was some occasional, damn, I'm super horny, I'm tired of playing with myself. You in the house. You
might as well.
Might as well, son. Like, and boy, that's, hey, bro, when I tell you that is the worst place to be in a marriage, son. Cause it's like, for me, it's like, it's a mind game. Like even when I'm horny, and it's like, I know what I was doing it for. So like you start fucking aggressively, right? Like you doing all your aggressive positions. You hitting it from the back. You know what I'm saying? You pound town until it comes, you roll over and go to sleep. And same when she would take it. Boom, let me get me. Sometimes I'll be like, yo, what you doing? Them mans ain't done yet, but she finished. And I think that's you doing each other disservice when that part of the relationship is not discussed. Cause you know people get so uncomfortable talking about their own sex life, and I don't understand it. Like, this is the chick you are smashing, bro. She's letting you inside her, and vice versa. This is the dude you letting inside of you, girl. Like, what is so hard about a sex conversation when we all adults? I don't understand it.
I promise you, I'm asking me.
You gonna bring it up?
What? Hell yeah.
What if she flip her top and be like, and just be like, oh, so I'm the problem, and like go straight defense mode and feel like you attacking her. Like
You might have to part ways then.
so you ain't like it's like it's very little from the sex compartment that you just realize I'm gonna work with that. It's just like nah, this is a requirement for me. You know who I am when you met me, and if you can't provide this service, then cool. And I get that from a man perspective because it wasn't. I don't know if it was sex for me, but I just remember. I think every man got hey, I don't ask for much, but this right here I ain't bending on. And to me, it sounds like the sex is it for you.
like I ain't getting married to not have sex, shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And I definitely, like you say, 3, 4, 5 times a week is way more than reasonable. It ain't like we asking for that 3, 4, 5 times a day.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all it is to it. So I'm with you on that. I'm 100% with you.
What you think the biggest fear you think we as men faced into a marriage?
The biggest fear. So all right, I'll tell you what I think the biggest fear is. I'll tell you what my biggest fear is, and what I think some other fears are. So my biggest fear, having to face marriage again, because I think when I'm manifesting this shit. So when I get married again, right, it's gonna come with the kids and the family. So my biggest fear is losing that, right? And I've thought about this because it's like damn, okay, you can't take a scared approach.
What you mean losing that?
So like if I get the wife and I get the kids and some shit happen where we don't work out, like I'm losing my wife and my children now. And like my biggest fear is like losing that, my family, and then having to like pay for it now. Like now you attacking my pockets. Because I know I'm a good dude. Like you're not gonna ever not have me in my child life. However, I've seen stories where women can make that shit difficult. So for me, it's like I guess I'll say it's picking the wrong partner and losing my children is the 2 biggest fears for me, right? But then like there's other fears that come with that, right? It's like the fear of being consistent enough to have a lifetime relationship with somebody. The ups and downs that come with that. Can y'all sustain all that shit? Financial burdens that come with being in a marriage, right? Making sure your partner is financially as financially responsible as you are, and things like that. So those are some other fears. But my 2 biggest ones is picking the wrong wife and losing my family, bro. 100%.
To be honest.
And that's why before you could just not to cut you off. That's why it's like I really take my time with vetting these women, son. Like. It's like I'm not losing my kids. Yeah.
Man, to be honest, like I don't really have no fears getting married because I know that's what I want.
That's dope.
Yeah,
that's dope. And honestly, bro, keep that because like you don't know what to expect going. The first time I went into it, I can look at you in your eyes and say, I think I felt the exact same way. Like I'm ready for this. Yeah. And when it's done right, but I think that shit could be dope. However, I think my fears are rooted in having ran that lap. Like, so when you look at marriage and like you just said, you ain't got no fears. Like, it's just like, I'm ready for this. I know this is what I want. This is the life I want to end up having. Like, there's nothing about a potential partner that would like make you want to be hesitant to go there with her. Nothing about marriage that would make you hesitant to want to go there with your partner. Like there's nothing about that whole the whole idea of marriage, all that shit. You fuck with that when you got the right one.
The only thing I could see that I'll be afraid of is me giving it my all. Like no messing with no female, no cheating, none of that. Just giving it my all like a marriage is supposed to be.
Yep.
And it don't work out.
Yeah. And see, bro, that's exactly where I'm at now. Cause that's exactly what it was. It was like, man, I jumped into these waters like, fuck it, let's go. I'm about to give you everything, right? Both publicly and privately, right? I'm about to rock out with you. You my chick. But what I like, and I'm not saying these are character traits of an individual, and I'm not gonna group this as all women, but like, I feel like whenever you jump into that situation and you give it that way, it's like shit can be taken for granted. Like now the good nigga that you've trained yourself to be for her, that becomes that's what you're supposed to be doing. instead of a constant appreciation. Like, and what I mean by that is like, just like I recognize your effort every day to wake up every morning to try and be a great wife, acknowledge my efforts to wake up every morning and be a good husband. And that's on a daily basis, every day of your life until we die and part ways. Don't halfway appreciate that shit in the beginning and then it becomes some shit that you're supposed to do. And it's just a regular, because then at that point it's like, damn, now I gotta question if I'm really, like if you really fucking with me, like if you really rocking with me now, because now I don't hear it. You know what I'm saying? I'm starting to not see it, right? The sex is dying down. All right, so you say you love me, in what way now? You ain't fucking me, you barely talking to me. If we do communication, there's an argument, right? So like, where's the love? And why is there, like, why does love exist, right? So I think that ultimately, you got to be able to vet all that shit. And it's a process, big bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it's a whole process because, like, you can run into women who you feel like it's for you, and you can connect on so many levels, right? You can find a chick, I'll use your example. You will find a chick that's dope on so many levels. Like, damn, I'm finna get in a relationship. I'm finna kick it with her. Boom, sex garbage. She's no longer for you, right? So it's like, and you just gotta run your race, bro. You just gotta go through that shit and run it. Because honestly, if you don't and you just rush to get married just because either your parents are forcing it or society's throwing it in your face or age and everything is telling you that this is what you need to do at this point in your life, if you jumping into it for those reasons, man, you setting yourself up for the biggest failure.
Hey, I promise you, I'll die single before I settle and like get married.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'll die.
Yeah. I agree with you. And honestly, I'll do that now. Would I have done that before? I'm not so sure because, you know, I told you shit. I felt like, looking back in hindsight, I did feel like some of that shit was rushed. You know what I'm saying? It was like, now that I see the real you, I should have took more time learning that person before I asked that question. So that was my downfall. Do you think ultimately the reason we holding off on marriage is like because like the single life is more entertaining, more attractive, and like more enjoyable? Like, and I'm not talking about us in general now. I'm just talking about men. Do you think when we think about men and how we moving out here in these streets, do you think we really like that toxic shit? We really like the back and forth with the women. We really like those arguments. Like that shit is fun. Cause you know when you go into a marriage, that argument becomes nagging. Arguing with the same person every day about some of the same shit. Gotta go home and deal with the same stuff. However, on the single life, them arguments can vary. Why ain't hit me back? Why you ain't pull up and say you was gonna do this like you said you was? You know what I'm saying? Why this chick hitting your phone? Why is all these? You become a mystery when you single and it becomes fun in the game. So like, what's your take on that?
I say it depends on the age of the nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like if I'm in my 20s, I wouldn't even be looking to get married. The shit too fun, man. You know, you out here talking to different females. You can do what the hell you want.
Yeah.
But when you in your 30s, you done did all that. You know, you ready to settle down. That shit get old. You know
That's true. So let me ask you something. Quick question based on your comment you just said. Do you think a man should not be married at all in his 20s? Like you should at least be 30 years old to get married?
Unless you just feel like the chick is the one.
Yeah.
Like if you just know for sure 100% that that chick is the one, go for it.
Yeah, because like, I mean, we got our partner, our homie, who got married in 15. Like, LeVar, nigga, I say his name. He got married, right? We was definitely in our 20s, and like, his marriage is beautiful, right? It's perfect. So you're right. I guess if you know, you know what I'm saying? I'm with you, but I'm also agreeing with you. Like, man, use your 20s to find you. Like, stop allowing people to say you 25 years old and you are OG now. Ain't lived a day in the streets. Talking about I'm OG status. Man, cut that out. That's for a specific group of people who living like that. When you 25 years old, you young as hell. You done just finished college, right? You probably ain't got your career job yet. You probably broke as shit. You know what I'm saying? Marriage should be the last thing you thinking about. However, in today's age, people get the degree. They may get their entry-level career job and feel like, okay, I guess at this point I can go ahead and get married and start building. However, you got to ask yourself, am I at the point in my life where I want to be, where I can give my all to someone? Because that's what the fuck marriage is. Like, that person that you choose is coming second to nobody, right? So including yourself sometimes. You know? So you gotta ask yourself at 25 and 26, am I ready to give my all to this chick and really put some of my shit that I want to get done on the back burner? Because it's a partnership, it's a give and take. So I think you're right, bro. Like in them 20s, if you don't know, if you ain't got the answer to all them questions, bro, stay single.
Yeah,
Do your thing.
Then when you get married that young, shit, it might not last.
Yeah, bro. I was reading a stat, bro. Let me mess your head up. I don't know if you know this. You might know the first stat. It was saying that more than 50% of marriages are prone to end up in divorce.
Yeah,
right? Okay. The second stat I saw messed my head up. Over 70% of marriages are initiated by the woman. And when I read it, I'm like, wait, women ain't asking dudes to get married. So when I started reading the article, they were saying that out of the however many people they asked, the couples and stuff, the marriage came because the woman was pushing that agenda. And the dude was like, shit, I ain't got no choice. So like whenever I read that 70% stat that it was initiated by women, I was like, bro, that 50% makes sense. And I hate to say that because I hate to see I really want to turn that number. Like I want that number to be like a more 75-25. I mean 75 married, 25%, or even better, 80-20 if we can get there. I think that'll be dope. You know what I'm saying? Because divorce is gonna be inevitable. We're not perfect, but if we can get that number to that range, I think that'll be fire. But I don't think we're gonna ever get there with that 70% number I read. And I was because I read that stat. Yes, I was yesterday years old when I found that shit out. I'm like, wait. So niggas really is giving in to the, what we doing now, and why you wasting my time? It's been 2 years. It's been 3. I had one dude tell me his chick hit him with the, man, we've been together 2.5 years. What are we doing?
2.5 years.
He had a testimony. I was like, what? Quick question now. Do you think the longer you in a relationship, meaning girlfriend and boyfriend, the longer you in that situation, the stronger the marriage will be on the back end? Or do you think that shit don't matter at all?
I don't know. If you've been in a relationship a long time.
Let's say, I'm talking about like maybe 10 plus year relationship versus the 2.5. I'll put some numbers on it. Let's say 10 plus versus like 2.5.
Well, 10 plus.
Yeah, if you got a girlfriend, you've been rocking for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Right? But then you got a girlfriend 2.5. Do you think one marriage is set up to be more successful than the other one because of the time put in on the front end with the relationship?
I think the 2 years would be better than 10 years.
Oh, interesting.
Because if you've been in a relationship 10 years, why the hell you ain't married her?
That's a good question.
That's just, man, like.
That's a good question. I'll play devil's advocate, bro. Really quickly before we jump in bro talk. I'll play devil's advocate. Let's say within those 10 years, y'all got the beautiful kids, y'all got the house. There wasn't no infidelity, like no cheating. Maybe it was whatever you got over. Let's say, but like on all accounts for the most of that relationship, everything been solid. It was just bro making sure that when I do get married to you, our family set up. Like, because like for me, and the reason why I asked that question, I just flipped it back, because like when I think about the 2.5 year, when like that was my situation. It's like, and I believe in like when you know, I do get it. But it was like for me, I still left some stones unturned. So I don't know. I confused myself with the question, so I had to bring it to you because I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't see nobody being in a relationship for 10 years, man, and you thinking she the one. Like, it shouldn't take you no 10 years to get married. That's not what I believe.
I'm with you. I'm with you. 10 years is a long time, especially at our age.
Not too many women gonna stay with you.
Nah, you got your special one, and you can define special however you want. I'm not gonna call it.
That ain't a good one.
Man, you right, bro. Like 10 years, man. Like, but I also like I hate looking at people's relationships and trying to point my finger and say what they should do. I just have an opinion about it. Well, I had one, but then I had multiple, and I couldn't decide which one I prefer because on one hand, I did the early, what it was. An actual relationship before I asked the question to get engaged. 4 years for me, which I think that's some decent time. Yeah. But however, I felt like, granted, one of those years was long distance, and then the second year I moved, I was like 10 months shacking up with my bro to get my feet wet, and then boom, the last 2 years we jumped into a situation. And those 2 years is where, a situation where we were living together. And those 2 years is where I started to learn her and get to understand her and who she was on a day-to-day. And I think I needed more of that, them last 2 years, to sustain my situation or to understand if I even should be asking that question. But it's always an interesting question for me, because I was like, I don't know, man. Because I've seen successful situations where they've been together 12, 13, 14 years, and he finally like, all right, let's get married now. And it's just a regular day for them, but they still enjoy it. But then you see in the stories where it's like 6 months. Man, I saw a woman, she knew her dude in 6 months, but they've been married for 17 years, bro.
That's crazy. That's rare.
It's super rare. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It's always dope to have this conversation, because like the reason why this topic is I think is a good one to discuss, because I always hear, like, you see these memes and you hear females and women in they group conversations like, stay single, sis, till a dude can act right, or if you can't beat him, join him. Or the Lauren Harvey book, matter of fact, think like a man, act like that nigga too, right? So I think that society is setting it up for us to be single, bro, and like accept that lifestyle and accept the fact that we gonna have these sexual encounters, like I said, and not have to worry about marriage. But I don't want to lose the concept of forever and a true companionship. And so I wanted to have that conversation, because like, I think that like we need more marriages and less of the competition that you see between men and women, bro.
I agree,
man.
I agree.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you jump into this bro talk, bro. I know you got something for me today, bro. What you got? What this bro talk is?
Fellas, for bro talk, I'm gonna just say this. You ain't gotta be the most attractive nigga, the most flyest nigga to welcome to a female shoot your shot. All you gotta do is know how to make a female laugh. You just need a sense of humor. And I want y'all to keep this phrase in y'all head. If you can make a girl giggle, you can make that ass jiggle.
Quotables. On that note, man, we gonna wrap it up, bro. All right, and it's episode 15 of the Certified Steppers podcast, bro. And it's a dope conversation talking about if men really, really, really seek marriage in today's age and the whys and why nots behind that. I hope y'all dig the perspective. As always, man, I hope y'all got some feedback and some comments to add to it, because it's always dope to get y'all perspective too. Again, I'm your host, KP. This is my dog, Smooth. This is another episode of the Certified Steppers podcast, and we'll see y'all on the other side. We're out.
Oh, you be with them steppers, huh? But you can't step with us. Niggas swear they certified steppers, but don't step enough. Oh, you be with them